Hey, in this video I will try to simulate a match preparation, also known as anti-strat, and cover all the basics and nuances that go with it. There are thousands of methods to do this and there is no perfect way, but I'm going to share how we used to do it in our team. I will combine it with lots of actionable tips, how you can do it better or faster, what to focus on, and how to take notes which you can share with the rest of your team. For transparency, this was all done live on stream. It took me about 2 hours, but I went over every single thing that I do and why I do it, so that's why it took longer than usual. Also, this prep is pretty basic, but we didn't go too much in depth, and I feel like this is a good place for you to start if you want to elevate your game on both individual level or team level. Document where I did notes is linked in the description down below, so you can read it as we go through the video. I decided that we will roll a random number from 1 to, let's say, 25, and whatever the result will be, I will go into HLTV ranking and I will choose the team with that ranking at this very moment. Okay, 6. Okay, this might be a little bit better. Who's number 6? Complexity. Yeah, this might be fun. Let's see their maps first. All right, let's go for stats and we will go for the last 3 months. So they have permaban. What is their permaban? Nuke. Oh no, a Mirage. Mirage is their permaban. They have a bunch of good maps here that we could take a look on. All right. I think I will go for Overpass. There's a lot of things that we can focus on that map. So they played Monteface, MAT Mouse. We're not going to focus on CSGO results. 4 wins. Makes sense. They have a good city round percent. Pretty bad T round win percentage. So we will probably look for a lot of things on T side, on their T side. Now that we have that out of the way, here's a document which will be available for you to download or view. I will just keep adding some stuff to it while we're talking. So just to make some header, you know, we are going to take a look at complexity, the overpass. So we are going to use StarCaller by Leadify. This is a software that I'm familiar with, honestly. It's a closed software, so we will have to get like invitation or you know, ask for the permission to join in, but you will all find it on the main page of starcaller.leadify.com. There's a bunch of other software you can use, Shadow GG and Tags GG, whatever. I'm not really familiar with all of those. Plus you have to pay big bucks to get them. If you're doing a match prep like this, you don't really want to download a bunch of demos and go into the CS2 and load the demos and look for stuff like that, because it's an extremely tedious process. It's annoying, it's slow. All you really need when you look at the teams is to have like an overview like this, overview of the map, and see where people are going, how they're behaving, how they're rotating, what are their positions, go-to positions. If you want to look really at the in-game personal specific player, that's when demos come into play and you can check that. But if you're looking at the team game, this is much more analytical and better and faster. Okay, so this whole prep is going to be like really bare bones, as I'm doing this preparation alone, and I want to at the same time simplify it enough for viewers to understand it. So pretty much any level of player can get something out of this, even new players or experienced players or even pro players. If they tune in, they will see some methods that I use personally, and maybe it will be interesting for them. Also, this prep doesn't factor one huge thing, and that is that you have already established team with strats and you practice together and you have some kind of a strat book or playbook where you have defined rounds or defaults and everyone knows what to do. So we're going to assume that you already have that, and we are not going to like kind of create rounds while we're doing the prep, but it's just going to be a guideline for your team. What should you focus on? All right, we're going to focus on CDSI first. Let's talk about some stuff. So this preparation is also going to take much more time than it usually would, since I want to show you my thought processes and what I do and why. So I'm going to comment a lot of stuff. Once you get familiar with your, you know, style of analyzing the software and everything that goes with it, you can, you know, kind of speed run through these analytics much more faster, fluidly, and better, and it's going to be much more enjoyable process. What I'm going to be doing is usually a job of analyst, coach, and an IGL, I would say. So since you're probably not on a team where you can afford to have a coach or you have an analyst, it looks overwhelming at first by doing this by yourself every single match. But even if you play a couple of matches per week, you have literally no time for individual warm-up or individual preparation when it comes to shooting. So this is something you will have to figure out in your team. And I'll give some actionable tips later how to spread the responsibility of doing an analysis so the whole team kind of benefits from it. Actionable tips I would share with you is that, no one likes anti-stratting, especially players, but it's important because anti-stratting gives you like huge advantage if you want to beat a better team than you are. It's not going to come down to aim or individual skill, but you are actually capable of winning teams that are playing better Counter-Strike than you if you prepare for them and if you anti-strat. And since no one likes it, it's good to spread this huge responsibility, tedious task into smaller, less annoying tasks, and you will share between your teammates, obviously. So let's say you will give your Oper task that he will be responsible for checking tendencies of opposite Oper, and where he likes to start, where he likes to peek, where he likes to do a certain moves, right? So this will be responsible one player, Oper. One player could be responsible for focusing on just pistol rounds. So he will be watching what the enemy team like to do in past games for pistol rounds, what are their tendencies, what pistol round he recommends to do in actual match, etc. Another thing is that one player would be responsible for creating, like, let's say 1 or 2 force rounds or anti-eco rounds for each side. A lot of them you will already probably have in your playbook that you're practicing in the actual practice with your team, but seeing them how it would be effective against opponents gets you a lot of information, again, how to play these rounds. And they are huge and important rounds, because if you lose them, if you lose anti-eco, you are going to be screwed for the rest of the game pretty much when it comes to economy. And if you are going to, on the other hand, win a force buy, that's going to set you up for a really early success either into the map or eventually swing the map on a dime, and you're just going to be in much better position. Obviously, these rounds are, let's say, in pro games, when you look at the stats, probably 20% of the teams are able to convert force rounds, 25 maybe percent, 30 if they're really good. And it's not a lot. And if you do this kind of prep that we will be focusing on, it doesn't mean that that force round will suddenly win you a game and it will be suddenly 70% win ratio. No, it will be like, it will go up by a couple of percents. Let's say from 30, it will go up to like 40 or 35 even. And it doesn't look that impressive, but if those percentages and those details that you go over with your team will actually win in this kind of round, I think it's going to be much worthy and much more interesting for your team to analyze further down the road against certain opponents, because those rounds are incredibly hard to win without any prep. So another actionable tip would be that IGL could be responsible for, let's say, a bigger picture. So going over your own strat books or tactics when your team already knows these kind of stuff from the practice itself, then checking if any of these strats will work well against the opponents and what are their weaknesses and tendencies in that kind of regard. Last important piece is, let's say, your anchor for CD side / lurker for T side. That's usually mirrored role. What are my roles constantly? And what I was focusing on was specifically opponent on my part of the map, which was usually mirror role to mine. And I was focusing on his early round nade usage, heat maps, and how much his Oper would be helping him in holding his part of the map. So I, don't go blindly into an aim duel against rifle and then Oper is there just waiting there and I wasn't ready for it or I wasn't prepared for it. And of course, if anyone is struggling, you can assign the task to a pair. So let's say one of your teammates is really good at creating, let's say, pistol rounds, and he's done really quick, and the other teammate is struggling with, let's say, creating a force rounds or anti-ecos. Then you assign the pair, and they will just make it more effective, much more enjoyable. It's easier for both of them, and this is how you just offset that negative effect that could play the role in an analysis, because if people don't enjoy it, usually they're not going to do a really good job. So if you don't have access to any program that could help you with this kind of stuff, like I have StarCaller here, you will have to do it old school way through watching in-game demos. that's really bad. I would say better option is to watch just VODs on Twitch. But none of it is optimal, honestly. You want to get something like StarCaller yourself. It will be much faster, and in-game binds for demo review might help, but it's not gonna make you like any better long run. So this is something that any serious team should consider investing in. I think it's one of the best investments you can get in order to perform better. I actually played with few pro players myself that said something along the lines of, you know, I hate anti-stratting. Yeah, I just focus on it way too much, and it doesn't allow me to play my own game, and it's useless. And this is, in my opinion, huge cope and big red flag in a player who wants to become the best, right? So this is not about you playing differently according to anti-strat, but this is about the player not knowing when and how to use the anti-strat or the information from anti-strat. So this is something that is part of your individual skill as a player and part of your decision making and ability to read the game, I would say. And if you're struggling, it is a great opportunity to work on it, and don't just say it's useless because you don't know how to play with it or use it. Okay, so we are going to jump into actual analysis. So we have 4 games that are going to be part of this whole analysis. It's going to be game against Monte at IM Sydney, game against FaZe at IM Sydney, and then Thunderpick 2 games against M80 and Mouse. All of them were win by complexity. So we're gonna go for pistol rounds first. Okay, so they played 4 pistol rounds, obviously, 4 games. I will load all of them at the same time. Okay, so what they were doing is they start 3B, they have aggression in underground and aggression on short. They're actually staying around that. They countered Monty pretty well since they wanted to go underground in the first place. They clearly make up their mind. For Kevlar's, JT was the only one with nades. Let's see how they do against FaZe. We're starting 3B as well. This time passive on B, passive on A as well. But they're playing together, Floppy and Leash. Eventually they push for information, but they are met with 4 people, so this is gonna go really bad for them, I guess. Leash managed to get one. Okay, but overall, aggressive pistol. Next one, against M80. 4 starting B. Halzer just playing A for information. Listening. Grim again on the... So this is already the first thing that we're seeing. Grim is playing 2 pistol rounds with the duelist close monster on the sandwich position, or wood, however you want to call it. Meanwhile, JT is in heaven again. So you see, against FaZe, Grim was close monster, duelist, JT with a flash ready. Or smoke? It looks like smoke. Yes, it's flash actually. Alright, and then one more round, JT again with nades in the heaven. Grim taking short, playing aggressive underground. This is very similar to what they did against Mouse. At least it's gonna push and he's gonna die. Yeah. So Halzer died against Monty. Alish died exactly the same way against Mouse. But overall, it feels like very active pistol rounds. They're pushing for information. And whenever T's were playing slow and default-ish kind of way, they were successful. So just to see it, Monty played slow underground. They decided to back off, but eventually it got them into nice advantage. It was 3v5 for a brief moment here. Samdayan killed Floppy. This round was again pretty slow. They were playing pack together in a default fashion. Just managing to get good trades on long. Again, it was 3v5. No, 3v4, I'm sorry. Now it's 2v4. This round started really bad because they weren't really playing slow or default in M80. And even then, when they slowed down, they managed to win the round just by slowing down. In the end, it ended in 1v1, which isn't optimal. But they lost all of these pistol rounds, actually. No, they didn't lose this one. They should have lost this one, I feel like. Yeah, this is... So, Floppy wins 1v2 here. So I'm not going to count it as a win. Obviously, whatever Mouse wanted to do, it worked. And again, it was kind of packed pistol round. So I'm going to go into my document. And I will say, for pistol rounds, generally playing active and aggressive. Grim, only thing that we spotted so far is that Grim likes to pick up dualies to hold close monster on a sandwich area, or however you want to call it in your team, I don't really mind. GT starts having fun with nades. That's the only thing we spotted, and some counter that actually worked against them. We can manage to write it like this. So counter, playing slow, default-ish pistol rounds packed together, ready for their aggression early. Okay, that usually worked, right? Yeah, it's kind of wild that they lost all the pistol rounds apart from that floppy one, and they won every overpass game. Maybe that's the reason how to play great overpass, is to lose pistol round. Let's move on to, I hope this will work now. So full buys. Okay, there's a lot of gun rounds that they're running, so I like that. There's gonna be a lot of things. So this is obviously a little bit overwhelming what you're seeing right now, and that is that I have every single player marked. I don't know why Junior is here, but he apparently played something. Oh, he played before, yeah, obviously. So every round, every gun round, and every player is spotted on the map. So if I want to see just, let's say a leash, all I can do is, you know, highlight him, and I will see all his gun rounds. Gun rounds meaning he has a rifle and enemy teams, they all have a rifle. So it's not a force. This is how he starts gun rounds. So by the looks of it, he's an A player or A rifler. A lot of times he likes to start banana to get fast information either in underground. Here, can I? Yeah, I will just do these kind of things. Either in underground or somewhere towards middle. Very rarely he's gonna push long, but there are some situations where he does. He's playing actually underground quite a lot on gun rounds. Okay, so this is for a leash. I will just write down their positions. Okay, now actually I want to look at some of uncommon plays within their gun rounds. So any very aggressive peeks / pushes, such as from the early round. Okay, so I see you have a time round down here, 139, and there are some occasions when on this timing 139 they have 2 people pushing underground on gun round, or they have way too many people around short area just to actually take it. Okay, so this is huge information also, so we will go in depth on those rounds. But I also already see Floppy, I feel. Yeah, Floppy is a monster player. He's almost always starting the round around the pillar area. Sometimes he's deciding to swing monster for the information, and his first contact on monster usually. What about JT? So he's usually more passive and he's taking short, and if he is monster together with Floppy, he's taking this position a lot. So there are 4 instances where he went into sandwich. There are more actually. That's 5 instances already. All right, let's see what Grim does when he goes towards B. Just the usual jump check. Not the usual jump check, but he's jump checking either here or he's spamming from here. So I can already see that Grim is a little bit abusable when he starts towards B, because at the timing, what you can do is toss a triple nade towards this position to get the chip damage, or there's even possibility of throwing a triple nade from outside monster all the way to the spammer area here. So you can get a free kill on Grim if he plays like this a lot, and it looks like he does. So let's say around 130, a lot of gun rounds he's playing around this area. This is actually 4 times out of all those rounds that we discussed. Okay, I will start writing these down obviously, but it's individual. Let's focus first on those short pushes that we discussed before. Okay, so these are the rounds when they decide to take short early, and this is against M80. Let's see how they do it. So this is a round where for some reason, oh, they missed the molly on short. Okay, so this is interesting. So they wanted to do this play anyway, just from the setup, from what I can see. But JT is having a smoke in his hand, which you can see above his nickname here. And he wants to put out this molly, but since they miss it, which is pretty rare, but it happened exactly this round, he puts it away right now. He just pulls up M4, and he's gonna get a duel, really good duel on Swisher. That doesn't even get to shoot him because Grim kills him with a spam or HE, I'm not sure. And that's pretty bad round from MAD. But it was fast short take with Floppy flashing from heaven, Grim mulling. Let's see if we see something different. Halzerg this time is taking it with an op. JT helps him. But again, there was the idea that they are putting out of this this molly on short in order to take short. All right, that's the second round. Third round, Floppy and JT again are putting off the molly on short, and they are taking it. And they're swinging deep short pipe. Now Leash and JT are starting, and they are again throwing preemptive smoke. Floppy is throwing it from heaven. Preemptive smoke before molly even comes. Leash and JT, this time they're choosing to play a little bit more passive, but they have short control. All right, another round. Halzerg putting off the molly on short, and he's playing aggressive with an op. So we have a common read here. DemQ actually missed the molly. DemQ missed the molly. That's why they're not even smoking, but I'm pretty sure they wanted to, or Halzerg wanted to. And last round that they're taking short is like this. Halzerg again with an op, and Sam Da-Young missed the molly. There's a lot of misses, honestly. Monty, what is doing? And Halzerg takes it himself. All right, so now the read is not complete yet, because we will have to look at the smoke usage by literally every single player, because sometimes they might be faking this, right? So sometimes they might smoke off this molly, but they're not taking short, and we will have to figure out right now if they're doing it. So we're gonna reset selection. We're gonna go again into full buys. So we are right now in all of those rounds, and there's a bunch of monster smokes coming early, and then there's a bunch of smokes on short here. So all I want to do right now is just focus on these smokes. We'll do it manually because it's fine, because it's easier, but we can count the smokes. So there are 2 smokes coming short. 1, 2, there's gonna be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. So there are 7 smokes here. So out of all gun rounds that they smoke off this molly, 7 times they pushed, and we exactly saw that 7 times, 60% of the time there was op, and it was 4 out of 7 times. All of the times they pushed short. Whenever this molly is there and they smoke it off, that means they're pushing short. So this is kind of big weakness already for complexity and their CT side, I would say. So whenever you're B player hears the smoke being put out, you can bet that they took short, and there's free information for you. Okay, that's for the smokes. Let's go back to some unusual plays that we can spot from the get-go. Monster, they're not playing aggressive at all, which we can't really abuse there. They're playing somewhat aggressive towards middle. We're trying to spot the patterns here. So there's a pattern obviously in underground. I will check these 3 starters because they insta-push. It's actually just 2 rounds. I want to see them. So it's Halzerg and Grim together. No, this one is just Halzerg going for the peak. And this one was a double push. JT and Alish double pushed. Okay, let's go back into the gun rounds, and let's focus now on Halzerg. So what he likes to do, where he likes to start. So he's very flexible. He's starting both towards A and B. Is not very one-dimensional. Whenever he's going for aggression towards A, it's mostly balloons aggression. One time he went underground, we just went over that round. He falls back after the aggression to 2 go-to positions, which is here or so, which is banana divider or long on the flower pot. This is his go-to position in mid round. And then late round, let's see what he loves to do on A. It's not too much information here. There's just a couple of rounds where he managed to survive this long, and there's not much we can read from this. But let's focus on B side. So these are probably his go-to positions whenever he doesn't feel any pressure, or he actually feels pressure after aggression, so he has to fall back. And then he has a couple of scenarios where he's just here with I feel like that must be with an op. Yeah, those are gun rounds. All right, great. Let's see Grim. Okay, so for Grim, we already discussed that he loves to jump check. Whenever he starts towards B, he's either starting here, jump checking short, or he's straight up spamming from these positions. Could be good to triple nade him from B lobby. Okay, so whenever he starts towards A, he's either playing in underground, so he's kind of ready to help for taking short, let's say. We will see. We'll look at these rounds. And then his second start is him in long toilets. So he's kind of a joker towards A. So let's look at these rounds if we can somehow spot any tendencies. Alright, Grim gets a kill. He's playing aggressive in underground. Gets a kill. B rotator is getting a kill in underground. This is a huge tell. JT and Floppy therefore are playing probably alone on B, and we will take a look at how they are playing while this is all happening. So Grim got an entry. Grim starting again in Leash is going a little bit ham. So Grim is getting double kill in underground again. Triple kill. Floppy and JT are playing a little bit defensive more. Okay. This is a B rush. There's not much that we can analyze here. Grim starting underground, and he is loving this position on stairs. We call it bit. JT and Floppy playing two guys B, just heavy blocking monster. So they're having different kind of playstyles, which is good. We cannot really abuse that. Again, Floppy and JT playing close monster when Grim is underground. Last two rounds. So Grim, is he gonna come under? He's coming under, but he started middle. So it's not a good round to analyze. Okay, so he does this when Halzerg starts B. Halzerg went actually for a monster pick. That's rare. He did it only like a couple of times. Let's start from the first round. Grim starting. Halzerg is on B again. Halzerg is on B again. So whenever Halzerg starts B with an op, Grim becomes A player. This is huge as well. Grim becomes A player, and he always goes to the same position. Long toilets. Now whenever op is on B, or they're doing this short aggression, Grim is gonna just camp in the toilets in this off angle. And you can take all this space for free and legit just pre-fire Grim. Legit, like, don't focus on anything else. Look where he plays. Look at the heat map. Like, he's literally just here. And if you know Halzerg is on B, you can just run long and pre-fire Grim. Okay, T side. Let's focus on T side. Okay, so let's focus in general again on pistol rounds. So for pistol round, they're doing exactly the same as Monty was doing. So for underground. No, they were doing it like reversed, and Monty decided to fall back. Okay, so for underground, JT again with the nades. They were probably looking for taking A side, but the plan got cancelled because they were pushed from underground door. And let's see, against FaZe, they did B pistol. Oh, I remember this one. They stacked for B. FaZe stacked for B, and Complexity anyway killed them. This time it was Halzerg and JT with the nades. Oh my god, Twist. How is he alive? Okay, so B pistol and underground pistol. Let's look at the game which I cannot load, which is M80 and mouse. So we will do it a little bit old school here, and we will just take a look at it through the actual Twitch, which is kind of scuffed, but it is what it is. Another B pistol, it seems. Is Halzerg? JT is having nades, Halzerg is having nades as well. It might be exactly the same pistol as they did against FaZe. Yep. Yes, it is. So it's a set round. And you can see Mouse was prepared with a double nade, so maybe not worth doing the same pistol. And let's see against M80. Now they were going again in a pack all through playground. They're gonna meet a lot of guys on long. Okay, so pack pistol. Let's see if we can go for some force rounds on this side. So we are gonna take it buy versus eco or eco versus buy. Let's just look if we can load some rounds. We actually can. We have a couple of rounds. We have 5 of them. Isn't that bad? Okay, so these rounds are... Let's see if there's something interesting happening. Doesn't really feel like it. Everyone just spreads out. I don't know what Junior is still doing there, so I'm gonna do it like this. Quite a bit of underground and monster aggression. Let's look at these underground instances. 3 different rounds. This is a Tech 9 round where they're smoking door instantly. I think JT missed it. Yes, he did. And Suhi is getting overrun. Torsi is there to help. Okay. Next one is JT having hero AK and he's going 3rd in underground. That's wild. Wait, JT has an AK on the HUD here, but he is using Deagle for some reason. I don't know if this is a bug. I hope he didn't have AK by mistake. And then we have just Grim. Yeah, there's nothing too much going on. There's nothing too much going on that we can read from these rounds. In general, very standard stuff. Whenever Ts are having eco or low buy, you're gonna be just aware of monster popes and underground push. So nothing that we can go for here. I feel like there's just not enough data, and that's completely okay. Sometimes you just don't have enough data for any conclusion. And you don't want to be guessing, you know. You don't want to create anti-strat and you are guessing half of the time what is people or enemy team gonna do. Oh no, Floppy is here. Fuck. I might have to end this stream soon. Nah. Okay, I hope he didn't have an AK there. Okay, let's go for economy and we try to see their anti-force buys. Floppy, I'm gonna ignore you if you're in the chat here. You didn't have too many force buys here. At least it doesn't count as a force buy. So I assume those are gonna be in the buy versus full buy category. Reset selection. We have 48 gun rounds here. Since they played T side every time for the full 12 rounds, there's gonna be a lot of rounds that we can go for. Actually, Floppy is here, so let's start with him. Let's start with him. Maybe he can give us some intel, but he's a B player, as we discussed. So he's one of those players that sometimes when you see a B lurker to play, they're gonna be like really passive. They're gonna do their traditional routine of, you know, mollying short, spamming through the monster smoke, etc., playing really passive. Be sure that they don't die, and then you're gonna have kind of aggressive players that are gonna try to fight and brawl short for a lot of rounds with a great success. Obviously, they're usually getting some kind of support from a teammate. In this case, it's gonna be probably JT since he's the roamer, we assumed. So he's gonna flash for him. He's gonna give him a molly, a smoke, etc. So Floppy is, by the looks of it, kind of a hybrid that we will get kind of both of each worlds. And let's look at the way he takes short. So obviously he's gonna use the smoke a lot of times. Let's see if he's missing a molly actually, because Monty against them, they miss the molly a lot. So I want to see if he's failing his. He's not failing it. He failed it only once. He threw it like 20 times in the 16 rounds. So he threw it like 15 times and then one time he missed it. So it's a good success. All right. Let's go for specifically these, which selected 11 of them. As we said, JT is helping Floppy. This is actually kind of anti-eco round or anti-force round, I would say. So Floppy getting into the cubby position as soon as possible, pretty standard. It's kind of wild that Twist and Robs are pushing him this kind of aggressively when Grim and the Leash is literally in the underground ready to swing on them. Floppy just disengages, and this should be a free kill for Grim. Yep. Alright, so this wasn't a gun round. I don't want to go too much into details there because there was not much resistance coming from FaZe. Floppy and Unleash are taking it together. Alright, pretty good. Very aggressive round. A lot of BD fields happening. And a lot of peaks as well. So Floppy already twice going straight for the peak. It looks like kind of same-ish round. Yeah. I think Unleash was supposed to go there, but they got split by mollies. This looks like a very similar round. So I will keep in mind the first two rounds are going to be some kind of a set strat or a set reaction. Floppy now starts alone towards B, yet he anyway took short by himself, which is good job. Playing around the smoke, very diverse. As we said on Monster, we didn't have a really good read on Floppy since he played a lot of positions and he just changed them up. For T side, it looks kind of similar. Second time he's choosing to go into cubby. It's crazy that he's not like facing Molly short pipe as much. Is that gonna be the same round? Alicia and Floppy, they love to peek behind the short Molly. They love to do it together. That's a first read that we should be at least taking care of. They're doing it even with Holzerk. Okay, another one. I don't know why this Molly is still burning when Floppy put a smoke on it. Maybe it's a bug, since Floppy is 100 HP, yeah, it's a bug. Okay, pretty straightforward starter. It's kind of a set reaction slash set strat. Again, first two tabs are actually the same round. So Grim is just in underground trying to make pressure so they have easier time taking short. And he's supposed to flash. Okay, so when he survives, he's supposed to flash. So this is clearly a set strat. Floppy gets full blinded by the flash. Doesn't matter. He gets a kill. So how can we read this strat? Because this is clearly something they're going for a long time. Grim is smoking underground. This might be one of the tells. Let's look at overall. For the reference, let's just call this this strat, let's say we call it liquid. And now let's look at the smoke in connector, which is gonna tell us a lot. So no, maybe it actually won't tell us a lot because they're using it quite often. Grim is using a lot. So Grim is gonna throw the underground smoke a lot. I wanna see all of these rounds. Watch 6 selected. Okay, so it's kind of his default-ish take, or one of the default-ish takes. So he masks it really well. This is when they wanted to do a liquid round, but Grim was just a little bit abused in underground. Brokey pushed his smoke, and he was countered by Brokey's smoke. This is, again, where Unleash is taking short himself. Okay, so there's no specific read for this one. However, there might be something else. Let me see. Maybe something that JT is doing. What about this mid-side smoke that they're throwing? What about this mid-side smoke? That might be again, JT is throwing that one. Twice, 3 times. This makes sense. Let me think. So I need to clear selection and let's see how often JT does it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's a lot of time, but still. If JT is throwing this one, now he's just faking it. This is good. They don't have a weakness when it comes to this. Now JT... Wait, flop is towards A actually. Alish did it kind of by himself, he just faked it. And now they're actually doing the strat. So Grim, these 2 smokes are there for the strat, but they're able to condition it well in their defaults, so they are not overusing it. And yeah, there's no real tell. All right, let's get back. Nothing too crazy, really. Grim in underground. Okay, let's see Holzerk. Okay, so whenever is, you know, pretty spread out, pretty good. putting pressure everywhere. Let's see these B rounds where he's not going for the peak. He's probably going to be setting up some kind of nades. Okay, so B set strat. Holzerg is just gonna throw nades, pretty standard. I don't think we can really read anything from this. This is again where Floppy, the B player, is lurking A instead. So it's kind of good how they're conditioning everything. Again, heavy B pressure with the leash. Floppy being... Oh yeah, we saw this round. Where they try to fake the liquid round. Now they're doing liquid round. Or no, it was just an anti-eco. They wanted to get a peek behind the short molly. So they're abusing it quite a lot. This is full eco. Okay, let me see for this liquid round if JT is going through. Yeah, he's going through the monster no matter what. Holzerg is just flashing for him. I feel like what they're not checking though is the 3-man boost on ABC. Whenever they're taking short, if you look at the way Floppy clears everything, he would be dead together with JT right now. So this is one weakness that we can kind of abuse on even gun rounds or low buy rounds. All right, let's reset selection. And we're gonna take a look at Grim Underground. Let's see the molly use first. Okay, very standard stuff. He's using his molly to take underground, or he's gonna use his smoke to take underground. Very, very, very standard. There's not much that we can be doing. Does he use HE early? Nah, very rarely. I feel like he's hanging out in this corridor a lot at 130, which makes him very vulnerable to these spams, to these ones. And I want to see how often they are smoking underground. So Elish never smokes it. Floppy never smokes it. It's gonna be Grim and JT only. How often does JT do it? Actually quite a lot. But whenever he does it, yeah, Grim is in underground. So they're wasting a smoke, essentially, every round for the door. But that's pretty standard. Okay, that's that. What about the leash? We didn't take a look at him at all. Always towards A, unless they switch up with Floppy, right? In those kind of specific rounds where a leash decides to go short and Floppy just lurks A. Okay, what about the rounds where he is full sending in middle? That's an instant A default. Again, instant A default with JT and leash. This is kind of a starter that they like to do. And again, JT and leash. This is not that bad because it's... Let's see what nades they use. Let's see what nades they use specifically for these rounds. Okay, flash. I'll just let it play. HE and flash. And flash behind by Holzerg twice. I feel like starting with a knob, like let's say holding this angle, could be pretty powerful against this kind of default, because the flashes that Holzerg is throwing here, they're not gonna blind you all the way here. And it's always the same shit. JT and then leash. Taking the same way. Let's see if the Holzerg is throwing the same flashes again. Yep. Monks is... Okay, this is exactly the angle I want AWP to hold here. And I feel like you're in advantage against JT. He almost killed him as well. He's like 40 HP, 44 HP. Alright, I can't see anything else for a leash other than he's not really... Was he really taking long early round? I don't think he was. Only twice where he took 3 times. He's never taken long fast. Floppy. He wanted to send it in those 2 rounds on 2 occasions. Grim. Not taking long at all. Holzerg. Taking it only once. JT. He just peeks it and goes back. Let's go for Holzerg. He is spread across the map. So... And he's more of like a supportive element when it comes to B. Only once he went for aggressive peek with Floppy behind the short molly. He's holding long a lot, if you guys see. Yeah, we just spoke about, so he's holding any long pushes, but look at the time where he starts to rotate away from long. We said in a previous note that 1 minute is the mark where you should be free to push. And this is exactly when he left it. So at 1 0-10, he's holding it on 3 occasions already, okay? Once he is actually taking long himself, but 3 occasions he's holding long push. As soon as 1 minute passes, one guy already left, second guy left now, and third guy left. So 1 minute is a perfect timing for you to push long here. And while you are having this setup, so let's say one guy here, one guy here, this guy is gonna push. If he ever dies or meets someone, there's another guy on long. If he pushes and there's no one, this guy can slowly start rotating back through bank to B. Or he can like go toilets and maybe even push through underground. This is very, very good way for you to abuse this kind of defaulting where terrorists are just kind of ignoring long in a majority of the rounds. And it seems like Complexity is very B default heavy team from what we can see. There's a lot of occasions where JT is starting towards B side or underground. Only really way where he was towards A was when, as we discussed, they did this fast take mid. They're rarely hitting A. If I'm gonna be honest, guys, look at the way they're going towards A in these rounds. Look at, okay, make a mental line, okay, here to the right, and then here to the left. Okay, divide the map on the left side and right side. And now look how they're approaching late rounds. Let's say sub 1 minute. So we're gonna roll all the way to 1 minute. And how many times are they going to lean? These dots are gonna lean towards B, and how many times are they gonna lean towards A? You can see B hits are already happening. Like they're going out monster now. They're hitting B, and the timing on this is like 40 seconds. However, if they're going A, it's way, way late. It's later. It's like 30 seconds. You see, it's 20 seconds left. Now they're entering A for the first time. Like 30 seconds, 25. So, and then there's like last kind of call is towards B. So they're like trying to go B on the timing of 40 seconds left into the round. Then they have like a tendency, if it's like 30 seconds and less, going towards A. But if they're blocked there, like look at these rounds, when they start rotating from A into B, okay, all these scenarios, that's when they're actually gonna hit B late, which is super late. It's gonna be like 15 seconds left on those rounds. I wanna see why they rotate on these occasions. Maybe they were, oh, it's just 4 rounds. It looks like way more. Are they gonna get blocked on A, or are they just faking A in order to go B? It's kind of important to know. It's kind of clutch, so it's hard to define. It was maybe just really like mid-round call by JT. They want to go A, and they're eventually gonna struggle at, no. They're just straight up giving it up and going B. And again, the round timer, 40 seconds, and they're entering B. You see? 40 seconds, entering B. If the round is not over by 40 seconds, they are going B. And if you block them, they will come A in. It's like you can swing the whole rotation into B, stack B. If they're not coming, you have still time to go A because you have 10 seconds kind of gap there. And in the end, if it's like really late round and you manage to block them on A, it might be still like last kind of call, or a golden call as we call it, to go B, because that's the only option to win. Okay, so what you can do again is you can kind of stack B against them. Let's say with it's 45 seconds left, you will just overstack B, and you are hopefully gonna be prepared for them if they're coming. And if it's like 30 seconds left, you can start pushing B in order to flank them, right? So let me explain. In StarCaller, I will reset the selection. So whenever we're approaching 30 seconds mark, let's say it's 40 seconds left, you can heavily stack. They're going even faster. So I would say 40 seconds left. Okay, so 40 seconds left on the clock. Let's say it's 50 seconds. Now it's perfect for you to kind of stack B. If you see how many times are they preparing for a B pop here or a B pop here. Sometimes they're already inside, but obviously those are set strats that we already discussed. And if you're stacking B and they're not coming, what you can do as CT is that you will push short and you will flank A, okay? Because that's probably the side that they're heading towards. And yeah, I don't want to go over one A4 page on the counter-strat because I feel like then it kind of gets counterproductive. There's just way too many things. And we just went through the most important ones and most obvious ones that you can use however you really feel like. So that was it. The whole simulation was pretty fun for me, and definitely I learned a lot as well. If you like this concept, please let me know in the comments down below so I know I can do it more often. And in the meantime, I hope you were inspired to think about CS in more analytical way. So when you watch these best teams play, it will give you deeper understanding of what is happening and why. I'll keep doing these live on Twitch as well, so I hope I will see you there. And while you are here, check out the video that YouTube is about to recommend you. You will like it.